So this is my back and biceps workout from the 26th of July, and I was then 110.5 kilos. At this point, I was around 8 weeks out from the PCA Irish Classic, and things were actually going pretty well. Strength was holding up, I was feeling good, and surprisingly, hunger wasn't really becoming a problem. But there was one thing starting to concern me. I wasn't losing body fat as quickly as I wanted. And when you are 8 weeks away from stepping on stage, that's something you can't really ignore. So I have to adjust, and I was doing another required steps, like decreasing the food and all this sort of stuff. I started with the Diverging Lat Pulldown. 3 working sets here, and this is something I'm actually quite happy with during a cut. I'm not expecting to get stronger every single week when calories are coming down, but if I can maintain my strength and training performance, that's a very good sign that I'm doing a decent job of holding onto muscle. At this stage of prep, I'm not trying to prove anything in the gym. I'm trying to get the most out of the muscle I've already built.
ATL checking, he a fucking millionaire.
Actually, something quite funny happened around this time. I was approached in a gym by another guy who asked me, what's the secret to building muscle? And I told him, well, it's consistency and discipline. And then I said that having a personalized training and a nutrition plan would probably be a pretty good place to start. He didn't look particularly impressed with my answer. I think he was hoping I was going to reveal some underground bodybuilding secret. But unfortunately, I don't have one. If there is a secret, I haven't found it yet. After more than 30 years of training, I still think it's mostly the boring stuff. So train consistently, progress when you can, eat appropriately for your goal, recover, and do it for a very long time. So next were pullovers. 3 sets, 10 reps with 110 kilos, followed by 2 sets of 8 with 130. One thing I really like about this exercise is that I can get a good contraction through the lats without needing to turn every set into some kind of ego competition. And that's especially useful during prep. I'm interested in stimulating the muscle, not impressing the bloke standing next to me. This is great exercise because it will allow you to take the biceps out of the equation. So you are not using biceps on this exercise at all, if you're doing it correctly. Now, although I was feeling pretty good during this workout, I could feel fatigue starting to build up. Nothing dramatic, just that gradual accumulation you get when you've been dieting and doing cardio for a while. You know what I mean? I've been doing around 45 minutes of cardio, but I decided to bring that down to 30 minutes. And that might sound strange when I'm telling you I'm not losing fat quickly enough, but I don't want to solve every problem by simply doing more and more cardio. Eventually you have to look at the whole picture. So training performance, recovery, food intake, daily activity, cardio, everything has to work together. Then we moved on to a regular lat pull down. Again, nothing spectacular, but I'm actually more interested in the fact that the strength was still there. When you are dieting for a competition, maintaining performance becomes a pretty important goal.
ATL checking, he a fucking millionaire.
So after pull downs, I moved on to unilateral seated rows. 2 sets here, 8 reps with 45 kilos and 8 with 50. By this point, the back had already had quite a lot of work, so there wasn't really any need to turn the session into a marathon.
ATL checking, he a fucking millionaire.
And then it was on to biceps. Crucifix Cable Curls for 2 sets of 13 to spice up the training, and incline curls for 2 sets of 11 with 20 kilos, and finally cable curls 12 reps with 22 kilos followed by 8 with 24. So I don't need a huge amount of volume for biceps at this point. Actually, I'm going to even reduce the volume even more when the fatigue will build up again. So the back work has already involved plenty of elbow flexion, so I'm really just looking to finish them off and get some quality work. And another thing I noticed during this phase was that I really wasn't particularly hungry. I would had my pre-workout meal, so obviously that helped, but overall my appetite was surprisingly manageable. That's one of the things that can make a big difference during a long contest prep. If you are constantly thinking about food, dieting becomes mentally exhausting. When you are reasonably satisfied, it's a very different experience. But the bigger question in my head at this point wasn't really the workout. The workout was going well. My strength was holding, I felt good. Fatigue was manageable. The problem was that I was looking at the calendar. 20th of September, that's the date. At some point during prep, you have to stop asking yourself, how am I doing compared with last week? And start asking, will I actually be ready when I walk on the stage? That's a strong section. Decision about calories. Looking at my progress, I knew I probably needed to make some adjustments. Not because things were going badly, but because being pretty lean isn't the same thing as being ready for a bodybuilding stage. And that's an important distinction. You can look good in the gym and still have quite a bit of work to do before you are actually stage ready. So I was starting to think seriously about bringing calories down and making sure I had enough time to get into condition without having to completely destroy myself in the final few weeks. So that's where I was at on 26th of July, 110.5 kilos. Strength still holding, feeling pretty good. Cardio reduced from 45 to 30 minutes because fatigue was beginning to accumulate. But at the same time, I knew the fat loss needed to pick up if I wanted to be ready for September 20th. And that's probably one of the most interesting parts of contest prep. It's not just about training hard, it's about making adjustments when the situation changes. And as for that secret to building muscle, I'm still waiting for someone to tell me what it is. Until then, I guess I'll stick with the consistency and discipline.